Hey, good news everybody!
I'm back, baby!
Back with more sarcasm and dry humor for everybody's enjoyment.
Great!
So here's a new list. The best TVC figures voted by you.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
You're right, Peter. It does sound awesome.
Oh boy, is this great!
We have old figures on here, new figures on here. Definitely an awesome list.
Can I see it?
Yes, of course. Let's all watch it. Let's go. Welcome to CKC. I'm Matt, and if you like Star Wars and Star Wars collecting, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, like this video, and
hold on to your butts.
I'm back!
That's right, I'm back. After a long and completely unwarranted hiatus, I'm back with another video, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
But Randy Quaid movie quotes aside, I'd seriously like to thank everyone who checked in to see if I was okay, which I am. That was very touching, and I really do appreciate it. So to everyone out there, thank you. It didn't go unnoticed.
Alright, enough of this gooey show of emotion.
So I thought I'd help everybody out and drop a video to pass the time while everyone is trying to score those Target exclusive Clone Wars figures. You know, in between getting the in-stock alert, getting the figure into your cart, only for it to be sold out by the time you try to pay for it 6 times every morning at 6 a.m. So I thought I could give you some entertainment. So we have a list. The best TVC figures voted by you. That's right, not me. Voted by you. I just tallied the votes. So 110 different TVC figures received at least one vote, which is completely insane. But because the voting occurred like 5 months ago, this list would probably be kind of different if it was done today. So we'll be doing a different best TVC list very soon. And I want to thank everyone who voted. I couldn't have done this without you, so thank you very much. And I'd also like to point out that most of the pictures of the figures that we're going to see are from bantaskull.com, which is a great place to get your Star Wars collecting news. They have a huge figure database with lots of pictures and figure reviews from all different Star Wars figure lines, so go check it out. So without further delay, the best TVC figures of all time, voted by you. But first, honorable mentions. Clone Commander Cody, VC-19. I wasn't surprised to see General Kenobi's attempted murderer on here, as not only is he a good figure, he will cost you some significant moolah right now. He was pretty high on the top 10 most expensive TVC figures list, which is linked in the description of this video in case you want to go check it out. I go over Cody and his love for blue raspberry popsicles in that video, so I'm not going to take too much time to go over him here. But he's definitely begging for a repack, or potentially a new mold, despite the fact that the TVC Cody is a repack himself of the Legacy Collection, with just some minor upgrades. Definitely a good figure. Glad to see him make the list. Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, VC-175. I think we both know that Hasbro has not even come close to releasing enough Lukes. If there's one figure that they have neglected over the years, it is Luke Skywalker. So that being said, it is absolutely shocking that it took until 2019 for collectors to receive a Jabba's Palace Jedi Knight Luke. But Matt, you say, I've seen this release before. It was released in the original run of the Vintage Collection. No, you did not. And don't question me, or the ketamine addicted monkey. VC-23, the Endor Capture Luke, was miscarded in its initial release, which is a different figure altogether. A mistake that Hasbro eventually corrected. Although the lightsaber construction Luke, which I call the Sandstorm Luke, and no one can stop me, also came with a cloak, which looks like a steaming pile of Rancor dung compared to this cloak on this figure. Look at the difference. That is insane. That is the best soft goods cloak with a hood Hasbro has ever made. Hasbro also used photoreal tech for this one, making it maybe the best TVC head sculpt of Luke they have ever done. At least much better than these two, both of which I've ragged on earlier videos. This figure was also available before its individual release in the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive TVC Luke Skywalker Jedi Destiny set with 2 other TVC Luke figures, both of which were also released individually before the Jedi Knight figure. This is an excellent figure for sure, and a great job by Hasbro. Just too bad it took so friggin' long. Number 10, the Rogue One Stormtrooper, VC-140. When Hasbro announced that the Vintage Collection was making a comeback, you just knew that a new Imperial Stormtrooper would be dropping down the line. And I prayed to the Star Wars god Rey that Hasbro would start from scratch and make a new mold, since the previous TVC Stormtrooper was pretty much a pile of hot garbage, removable crappy helmet and all. And to this day, I thank the all-knowing and most powerful Rey, because my prayers were answered when Hasbro revealed the new Imperial Stormtrooper at the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con was in fact a new mold. The Mimban Stormtrooper Stormtrooper VC-123, which just missed making this list, used the same mold and was released first, but nobody knew what the hell it was at the time since Solo wasn't out yet. This Rogue One Stormtrooper was released later with the helmet from the 5 points of articulation Rogue One Stormtrooper figure, which might be a tad too big, but this is a great figure with outstanding articulation. But the most baffling thing about this figure is the lack of rocker ankles. So you make a brand new mold with amazing articulation, but you neglect to give him rocker ankles? Why? So now, you can't go to the limits of this figure's great articulation without some serious balancing skills. But other than that, it's a great figure, and a vast improvement over the previous TVC Stormtrooper release. Number 9, the Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, VC-103. One of the very few figures that actually deserve to be in a recent TVC repack wave. This Clone Wars Obi-Wan would cost you a pretty penny before it was re-released by Hasbro with the photoreal technology. In fact, the old one will still run you about $80. The old head sculpt actually wasn't that bad for pre-photoreal tech standards, but the new head sculpt is a welcome change for sure. Other than the photoreal update, there isn't much difference between the first release and the reissue, other than a few slight changes to the skin color and the browns on the figure, and a slightly darker blue lightsaber. Unfortunately, Hasbro didn't update the mold, so the articulation is slightly subpar for today's standards, as he is lacking ball-jointed ankles and more importantly ball-jointed hips, which limits his posability, which is generally more necessary in a Jedi figure so he can hit those Jedi poses. But overall it's a good figure and probably worth picking up before the price of the reissue gets too high. Number 8, Ahsoka Tano, VC-102. Oh my god, have you seen how much this figure is going on eBay? I just looked it up and I almost passed out. $700. $700 friggin' dollars. You gotta be kidding me. I almost flipped this table. What the hell is going on? I made a top 10 most expensive TVC figures list, which this figure was on last November. It's linked in the description of the vid in case you want to check it out. That's what, 7 months ago? 8 months ago. And just 7 months ago, you could buy this figure for $225. On average. That means there was some price below that. And now it's $700. And it's not even that good of a figure. It has the dreaded swivel hips, which limits its articulation. Not only that, the Walmart exclusive Black Series 3.75-inch Ahsoka Tano, which is the same exact figure, is $40. 40. Always high on the list of candidates of TVC figures that should get a reissue, however is always skipped by Hasbro for figures in much higher demand like Queen Amidala. The amazing card art is at least partly responsible for the TVC version's dramatic spike in price. Hasbro is releasing a TVC Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano based solely on her appearance in Season 7, but this figure, with the same card, absolutely needs to be reissued in a repack wave before I lose my friggin' mind. Number 7, the Republic Trooper, VC-113. Also on the TVC most expensive list, the Republic Trooper is some of Hasbro's best work in the Vintage Collection, which also won the Hasbro Fan Vote from the Vault, and will be re-released in 2022. Leave it to Hasbro to repeatedly issue TVC repack waves jam-packed with figures that don't need to be re-released, and make us choose one figure from a group of figures that all need to be repacked immediately. Like, why repack the figures that will run you 80, 100, 200, 700 bucks when you can repack figures every few months that still go for $30 or $40, right? Case closed. Anyway, the Republic Trooper was an all-new original mold of Jace Malcolm from the Old Republic video game, a game from which Hasbro released 2 other TVC figures, both of whom also deserve a repack. The card art is awesome, so naturally Hasbro announced that they're changing it for the re-release. Because, you know, how does the saying go? If it ain't broke, fix it anyway? Yep, that's it. I live my life by it. The figure comes with some awesome accessories, including a removable helmet, a blaster, a massive cannon, a knife in a sheath, a pauldron, a bandolier, and a kama with a working blaster holster. Wow. One of the best TVC figures for sure, and at least it's getting a re-release now. Number 6, General Grievous, VC-17. That's right, despite the fact that he can't stand up, which seems to be a recurring problem with Hasbro's Grievous figures. The General received enough votes to place 6th on this list, and is also on part 2 of the most expensive TVC figures list, which is also linked in the description. Despite its flaws, this is actually a great representation of Grievous for a 3.75-inch scale, and he looks great on the card. But it is really just a repack of the Legacy Collection General Grievous with a few minor updates, including an awesome soft goods cape, which has pockets on the inside for lightsaber hilts. His arms separate into 4 arms, which is an awesome feature for a 3.75-inch figure, but when the arms are separated, he can barely hold on to the 2 included lightsabers or the 2 included lightsaber hilts. But they did update the wrists so they can swivel, Because come on, twirling the lightsabers is one of his main moves. He's not a bad figure, but a few minor improvements, including using a harder plastic for the mold, could have made this an awesome figure. Number 5, The Mandalorian, VC-166. Now this was a serious achievement in action figure development by Hasbro because they knocked it out of the park with this one. This is what every TVC figure should be, and it proves Hasbro can do great things when they want to. The paint job, the colors, and the details in the sculpt really seem to be on point. Someone mentioned that the brown should be a little bit darker, which may be true, but regardless, it still looks great. The helmet seems to be perfectly sized. It really looks like there's someone in there to me, which, as you might know, seems to be a challenge for Hasbro in the TVC as we get helmets that look a little too big or a little too small more often than we should. But his greatest feature is his posability. His articulation allows you to achieve pretty much any pose you want and do it easily, and would have been taken to the next level if he had rocker ankles. That's right, no rocker ankles, but that still doesn't take away too much from his posability. The only other update that they could have done would be a soft goods cape, but even the plastic cape doesn't get in the way of the figure's articulation, and it seems to fall correctly for every pose. Excellent work, Hasbro. Way to get it done. Number 4, Boba Fett VC-09 and VC-186. After seeing how great the TVC Mando figure was, most collectors' immediate next thought was we need a new Boba Fett, and Hasbro didn't disappoint, releasing a new Return of the Jedi Boba Fett 20 TVC figures later. Too long of a wait if you ask me. So there are two versions of the new Return of the Jedi VC-186 Boba Fett figure. The figure from the initial run had the rectangle on his chest armor painted as opposed to being part of the sculpt, which it was on the second release. And more importantly, the first run lacked the readout on the left part of his chest, which every Boba Fett release by Hasbro has had. Ever. What the hell happened, Hasbro? Now I gotta go on a never-ending search for this second release? What the hell? I've yet to find one with the chest readout, so hopefully I don't have to resort to eBay. But the figure is awesome, and is by far the best 3.75-inch Boba Fett figure ever made. And unlike the Mando figure, yes, he does have rocker ankles. He does have one problem, however. With the jetpack on, he definitely has some center of gravity issues. In layman's terms, he's hard to stand, which is so much more frustrating considering how awesome this figure is. I included the VC-09 figure because it got a decent amount of votes too. I go over the 6 different VC-09 Boba Fett releases in the most expensive TVC figures list. If you want to hear about those, then go check that vid out. It's linked in the description. Number 3, the Walmart exclusive Djarin with Child VC-177. So after the Mandalorian's identity was revealed, collectors needed a corresponding figure, which Hasbro smartly made a Walmart exclusive. It retailed originally at $17.99 because of the extra accessories, but now generally goes for about $27 at Walmart.com due to their pricing algorithm. So great. It's also numbered VC-177, which is cool. Except for the fact that the Walmart exclusive Incinerator Trooper is also numbered VC-177, but the figure itself is a refinished version of the Mandalorian figure to mirror his look after the encounter on Navarro at the end of Season 1. So most of the posability of the original Mando figure is there, other than the fact that he can't raise his arms higher than shoulder height out to his sides. But that's not the major complaint. It's really that the damage to his armor is only painted on. It still looks good, but I feel that some actual gouges in the plastic would have made this figure so much better. He comes with 2 interchangeable heads, one with the helmet on and one without the helmet, both of which look great. He also comes with a Camp Tano that would make Wilbro Hood red hot with jealous envy, as it has a removable lid so you can put the included ignits inside. And on top of that, one of the sides opens up. Definitely an awesome figure and worth picking up. Number 2, the ARC Trooper Commander VC-54. Although this figure is clearly Captain Fordo from the 2D Clone Wars micro-series from 2003, Hasbro decided to name it ARC Trooper Commander, since the 3D Clone Wars series was in full swing when it was released. 2 different versions of Fordo appear in the micro-series, and this figure can become both of them. That's right, it's a 2-in-1 figure, packed with accessories. Fordo uses the VC-45 Phase 1 Clone Trooper mold, and comes with 2 helmets, his Phase 1 helmet, and his personalized custom Phase 2 helmet, which both look pretty good. He has a soft goods ARC comma with an elastic top to keep it snugly attached to the figure. And because it's soft goods, it doesn't restrict the figure's articulation. Such a great idea. And if this can be done in 2010, when this figure was released, surely it can be done with new figures 10 years later, right? He also comes with a shoulder pauldron, a belt with 2 pistol holsters, 2 blasters, and then a second belt and holster with a shoulder harness. Wow. Not only that, his articulation and posability is top-notch, especially for a figure released in 2011. I mean, there's figures today that don't have the posability that this figure does. One of Hasbro's best for sure, and he's also on the most expensive TVC list. Number 1. ARC Trooper 5s, DC 172. Hasbro planned on releasing a TVC ARC Trooper 3-pack as an exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con 2020, but because COVID caused the cancellation of all conventions, it became a PulseCon 2020 exclusive. It included Fives, Echo, and Jesse, all in their Phase 1 armor, and in order to do it right, Hasbro created an all-new ARC Trooper mold, which was used for all three. Fives was the first to be individually released, as Echo is now available for pre-order and will be released in September, with Jesse soon to follow. The new sculpt is amazing, and it has ball joints for all the major joints, so he has next level articulation. The head sculpt is a spot on representation, and the blue pops right off the figure. It's definitely some of Hasbro's best work. But the figure isn't perfect. There had to be a downside, right? I mean, this is a CKC video, right? First of all, the mold is too short. He's really like a half a head shorter than everyone else, and the helmet looks like it's a tad too big. But that's not the worst part. Hasbro went all out with the articulation, with all these ball joints and rocker ankles, but his posability is restricted by the plastic comma that's part of the mold. You could have made the comma soft goods, and then you'd be able to pose them any way that you wanted. But no, it's a hard plastic and isn't removable, so bye-bye articulation. But other than that, he's an excellent figure, and definitely one of the best. What did you think of the list? Did anyone get snubbed? Let me know in the comments. What did you think of the order of the figures? Did anyone make the list that shouldn't? What other videos would you guys like to see? I'm always taking suggestions. Tell me in the comments. And I want to thank everyone who voted. Thank you so much for participating. I couldn't have done it without you. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And happy hunting out there.